Town and wants to pour into you guys for the next hour. We were going to do an introduction where you've got the voice of God that does the intro and gives you a little bit of his bio. And I said, this is Viseo. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to stay on our feet. We're going to give him a respect he deserves and a warm Viseo welcome. He flew in here from Salt Lake City, Utah, and he's flying out right afterwards. Please give a warm welcome to Mike Schlappi.
I haven't felt this good in a while. I haven't felt this good in a while.
Cinderella. She lived in a big heart house with her two sisty-ugglers and her mean old mepstother. You catching on? We'll see. One day, as she was flopping the moor, her two sisty-ugglers came running in and said, "The Pransome Hints is throwing a fancy breast drawl, and we're all invited, but gee, it's boo-tad Cinderella, you just can't go." So, fussed about Jen, Cinderella went running in the kitchen with ears in her ties, just about ready to chickasee a frickin'. When all of a sudden there was a lightning blast flight, and standing in front of her was a beautiful berry. Cinderella said, "You are who, and what in the who do you want?" The beautiful berry said, "I'm your Mary Fodgather." It wasn't a Mary Fodgather, it was one of you all dressed up as her hairy godmother. Cinderella said, "Oh, Mary Fodgather, may I go to the fancy breast drawl?" Her hairy godmother said, "Certainly." Why, certainly. So instantly, Cinderella was transformed into a babishing Rudy. She had on a long white Gatton sound, necklace of poopies and merles, and on her feet were two tiny sass glippers. She was off. Soon she casted the camel, came to the castle, and the first poo people she met were the two sisty-ugglers, but she was so beautiful, they didn't even Cinderize Recognella. They took her to the Pransome Hints. He said, "Wow, may I have this hance? For she is so beautiful, she reminds me of the beeping Slooty." He was just about ready to ask for her mare in handage, when all of a sudden the stock started to strike 12, and Cinderella banned from the rawl. As she was doing so, one of the tiny sass glippers flipped from her soot. The Pransome Hints, he went over and he picked it up and he said, "As soon as I find out whose soot this flipper sits, I'll know of whom I have lollen and fuv." It's a love story. So the Dairy Vexnay, he went from house to house and he went from pillar to post, and those can't be turned around, but he wanted to find out whose soot the flipper sat. And he came to Cinderella's house and he tried the flipper on the first sisty-uggler and it didn't dit. He tried it on the second sisty-uggler, and again it. And then it was Cinderella's turn. We all know the flipper pitted perfectly, and the Pransome Hints and Cinderella were married and happily ever after. What do we need to learn in this beautiful story? Never give up. Benjamin Franklin never gave up. Thomas Jefferson never gave up. Oliver Twiddledee. Who's he? You don't know him because he gave up. So always remember this simple little philosophy. As you walk down the pathway of life, even though some of our stubbles are trawl, some of our bubbles are trig, if we don't have any hubbles, how are we going to stroll grong, yeah? So remember, if you ever have a fancy breast drawl, to slop your dripper. And don't try to memorize that story. After a while, you get all messed up, you start to stink that way. But Cinderella's life went from pathetic to perfect. Why? She never lost the thought that she had the potential to be a princess. We are in a magical part of the world. I'm here with you today. Life is awesome. Life was good for me when I was a little boy. I was this tall. Well, I still am, but I grew up in a very small community in central Utah, 300 people. Everybody respected, supported, and trusted each other in this little town. 3 brothers, 3 sisters, great parents. I'd wake up every day as this little boy. I'd look at the beautiful mountains and the wide open spaces. And I knew in my soul that life was full of unlimited possibilities. My dad was a high school basketball coach, and I was being primed by my dad to be this exceptional athlete. Well, I grew to be about this tall, Now I was 15. Best friends were Roger, Phil, and Doug. And we would listen to the Beatles, we'd chase girls, we'd play sports, not in that order. And on this particular Friday, November 11th, 40 years ago, my best friends were waiting for me at Lake Ridge Junior High School. The entire school and community, they're all excited about the championship football game the next morning. So I fixed my little sister Julie's flat bike tire. I ran down the street. I jumped off the curb, across the road. I jumped up on the sidewalk on the other side of the road. I dashed through the grass. I leaped upon the cement porch. I started banging on the old screen door. Tori, a friend and a teammate, said, Mike, come in. So I opened the door, trying to find my friend. Where's my friend? Down the hallway. Got to the end of the hallway. You've been in those houses. I could go right or I could go left. I went left, bad idea, into his mom and dad's bedroom. And I plopped down on the white bedspread. Where's my friend? Excited about life. Tori rounded the corner, heading my direction, holding a gun in a brown leather case. Hey, Mike, I like to play around with this gun. When my mom and dad aren't home, this is my dad's off-duty police gun. I know where he hides it when he goes to work. I sat there, I listened, I was curious. He stopped 3 feet away, took the gun out of the brown leather case, flipped the cylinder that holds the bullets out to the side, started shaking the gun. I watched 4 little silver bullets come to rest on the white bedspread. I could have reached out and picked them up. I started doing math in my head. I got to 4. I wonder how many bullets that gun does hold anyway. I should have said something. This was an accident. Tori thought he had an empty gun, very playfully, casually, flips that thing back in, a little Russian roulette, spins it around, pulls that gun up to his hip, points it at my chest. Bang! I remember that power, that echo, that bullet hit my chest, punctured my right lung, clipped my heart, hit my spine, slammed me back onto the white bedspread. I passed out. My friend freaked out. I was regaining my consciousness. I couldn't breathe. I thought, this can't be real. This can't be real. But my friends here today, these things in life are real. Death, divorce, failure. I tried to take another breath and I thought, this is real. I'd been shot. My friend's freaking out. Can't breathe very well. Can't feel my legs. My mom's 5 houses away. I'm going to die. And so I started bargaining with heaven. Have you ever done that? I started bargaining with heaven. If I can live, I'll change. If I can live, I'll be a better person. If I can live, I'll help people. I just wanted to live. Tori's freaking out in the other room. I see this blue phone on the wall 8 feet away. I couldn't get to that blue phone, but I wanted to because my amazing, wonderful, incredible mother was just around the corner, and right then I needed her so badly, but I couldn't get to that blue phone. I was glued to that white bedspread. That's the last thing I remember as I thought I died. And then Tori was in my face, had a hold of my shoulders, violently shaking me. Mike, you're faking it. I know you're faking it. You're faking it. I pulled up my shirt. I showed him the hole in my chest. Tori ran back over to that same blue phone. Who do you think he called? He called my mom. My good mom answered, Mrs. Schlappi, come quick. Mike's been hurt. That's all he said. He chucks the phone in the corner. He runs back in the kitchen. The next 2 minutes were the longest 2 minutes of my life. Think of the longest 2 minutes in your life. It feels like forever, but I hung in there. Why? I had hope. We all need hope, and I had hope that my mom would walk in that room, and you know what? She did. And before I go any further, I have a gut feeling there's a couple of moms in this ballroom, in this beautiful resort. Moms, where are you? Moms, you matter. Moms, you're important. Moms, you matter. Dads, you're decent, but we're going to move on. So, My mom was there. She touched my hand, she touched my face, she ran her fingers through my hair, she saved my life. My mom ran back over to that same blue phone. Who do you think she called? 911. Picture this. My friend's dad's cruising the neighborhood. In his police car, it came across his little radio. There'd been a shooting at his address. He showed up, the ambulances showed up, they rushed me to the hospital. The body is an amazing creation, yeah? You know what saved me besides my mom, my friend, the doctors and nurses? My heart. When they took x-rays at the hospital, they couldn't figure out how that bullet missed my heart. When they took those x-rays, my heart was on an outbeat. When I got shot, my heart was on an inbeat. A half an inch can make a whole lot of difference. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be here with you. So 8 days in intensive care. Thank you. It's good to be alive, huh? Life is good. So 8 days in intensive care. It was hard. I went rock bottom. I was mad at God. I'm an athlete. I use my legs. These things should happen to like chess players or, something like that. All this stuff going on. My football teammates dedicated the game to me the next morning, 36-0. They lost. My girlfriend dumped me 3 days later. Her name was Annette Barton. I found a new one. My friends, good people like you, would visit me at the hospital, and they'd go home. And just me and my thoughts, and I'd see all these machines and all these plugs, and sometimes I'd go rock bottom. Hey, if I just pull that plug out of the wall, I can end it all. But I wasn't raised to quit. That wasn't the way I was raised. I'm not going to quit. I couldn't quit on my family and my friends. Even Tori that shot me showed up. You know what local newspaper said for the first 3 days? Boy shoots himself. Well, Tori sat there. We looked at each other. We both started crying. He gave me a book. I opened it up and written, Mike, I'm sorry. I'll never forgive myself. But I hope someday you will. This didn't just happen to me. It happened to my family, my friends, my future, my good wife, the entire community. This didn't just happen to me. I knew I was on my way to recovery when I started causing trouble in the hospital. My good grandma, I bet we got some grandmas here. My grandma Schlappi brought me a cherry Slurpee from 7-Eleven. 9 o'clock at night. I drank half the cherry Slurpee. I put the remainder on the nightstand by the hospital bed. I went to sleep. The nurse came in. She checked my blood pressure. She stuck a thermometer in my mouth. She left the room. I'm 15 years old. I needed something to smile about. What do you think I did? Took the thermometer out of my mouth. Where did I put it? In the last half of that cherry Slurpee. Nice and cold. Sat there for 20 minutes. I heard the nurse coming down the hallway. Just before she came back in my hospital room, I took the thermometer out of the Slurpee, put it back in my mouth, act like I hadn't moved. She walked over to the side of the bed, leaned over, pulled this thermometer out of my mouth. She looked at it. She got all nervous and hysterical. Why? This little thing that doesn't lie said I was dead. Yeah. 30 degrees ago. Mm-hmm. And I got in trouble. Have you ever been in trouble? I got in trouble, but I laughed. I laughed for the first time in a week, and that meant everything to me. I started to learn to love myself from the inside out, not just the outside in. I watched my legs get skinnier and skinnier every day. I promised myself one day I will never let my thoughts, my dreams, my future atrophy. The average person here today has 11 negative thoughts to every one positive thought. I was probably twice that at that point. The average person here today spends 45 to 50 minutes a day looking good for the world on the outside. Well, some of us a little bit less, but on average. 45 minutes a day. I spent the next 5 months in rehab. I had to change. I had to do things different. Different isn't bad, it's just different. In life, if you resist change, you fail. If you accept change, you survive. If you create change, you succeed. I had to change. Hey, by the way, I'm not here on this beautiful Friday afternoon in Orlando to tell you incredible people you can't have a bad day. Of course, it's okay to have a bad day, yeah? Especially if you've been shot. But don't let a bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month or a bad life. That's when you hang your head, you think you're no good, you think you don't matter, you're good just because you're alive. You're good just because you're alive. Now, go make a life for yourself. I lost those feelings for a few days. I don't ever want to go back there. I don't ever want to think about pulling that plug out of the wall. So 5 months in rehab, every day I'd work up a sweat trying to make my big toe flinch. I'd touch the bullet that was still in my spine, and I'd think about all the things I'd lost. I remember the first time getting in a wheelchair and rolling down the hallway. It was so different. I wondered if I could ever get a job. Would you hire me? See, that's why I had to go into motivational speaking. By the way, it's ranked the 6th most overpaid profession in the world, yeah? One right after, partners in Viseo, just like right there. So I had to figure things out. And I wondered, would girls ever like me again? Now I live in Utah. We've got 5 great kids. I got a couple of wives. Yeah. My favorite one's here with me somewhere today. Her name's Tammy. Tammy. So I had to figure it out. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to get on with life. I wanted to do better, go home, be with my family and friends. And one day they brought me a chair, kind of like this thing. It wasn't as nice as this white chair, but they brought me a chair and they said, Mike, if you can get in that chair, we'll let you go home. And I remember I looked at the chair and I thought, if I can't get in that chair, I can't drive a car. Because if I can't get in that chair, I can't get in a car. If I can't get a car, I can't drive, can't go on a date. Can't go on a date. I might as well, pull the plug out of the wall and end it all. Anyway, so they brought me this chair, and you put your right foot in, and you put your left foot in, and you transfer. Now, not a big deal, but it is a big deal when you don't have any stomach muscles, leg muscles, hip muscles. I had to start all over again. I was like a little kid. I had to figure things out. I have a little secret for everybody in here. You want to be a good friend, a good spouse, a good partner, help other people feel comfortable in your world. You want to be a great friend, a great spouse, a great proud partner of Viseo. Get into other people's world. Like my 11-year-old sister Julie got into my world. I went home and she literally became my private nurse. My dad and I, we went in the backyard. We grabbed a basketball. We shot it up at the 10-foot basket. It fell 5 feet short. I was bummed out. My dad knew it. Mike, you can still be a great athlete. You're just going to have to do it a little differently. I found out they had wheelchair basketball in the Olympic Games. I set a goal when I was just a kid to be the first wheelchair basketball player to represent the United States of America in 4 consecutive games. In our lives, if we don't know where we're going, we're not going to know how to get there. My mom, I love my mom. She's my hero. I'd wake up every day, and this wasn't a dream. This was real. My wheelchair was waiting for me. I'd climb in my chair. I'd roll in the kitchen. My mom was flipping pancakes. We'd talk. She'd cry. Mike, just because you can't stand up doesn't mean you can't stand out. That became my motto, yeah? What a great motto. I hope you have a motto. Thanks to my good mom. So that's what happened to me. I got shot. What's your problem? I sit here in front of you as a person. I used to be able to do 10,000 things. Now I can only do 9,900. I can't do dishes, laundry, garbages. I even got out of piano lessons because I couldn't play the little pedal thingy. It was worth getting shot to get out of piano lessons for me as an athlete. So I started living life. I started facing my fears. I would go to the high school. Hang on here. We good? Ah, nice. I thought we were going to have 2 disabled mics up here. Okay, so on with life, facing my fears. I'd go to the high school basketball games. I remember the first time I rolled down the cement ramp in the front of the house. Down the street, the curb felt like a cliff, the grass felt like a jungle. Then I'd go home and hang out for a few days, and then I'd go to the high school basketball games. My brother Scott, he's a year older than me. We're supposed to be the starting guards on the high school basketball team for 3 straight years. Where was I? Sitting in the wheelchair section. I hated it. I'd cry through the whole game. I wanted to be out there with my brother, all the cheerleaders making baskets. I'd sit up there, all these negative labels. You ever had those? Disabled, handicapped, crippled, Alabama. You know, all these negative. No, anyway, so all these thoughts, I thought, I'm in trouble now. Anyway, I thought, I'm going to go crazy. So I had to find something to do with my life. You know what I started doing? Running marathons. Any runners in here? My first marathon, July 24th, 1981, halfway between Salt Lake City and Park City. The first 13 miles are uphill, and it's bright and early in the morning. Me and a bunch of other dudes in wheelchairs. They let us go first so we won't be in the way. So I'm struggling along. 3 miles into the race, blisters, sweat, FUD. What's FUD? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But I wasn't raised to quit. 10 more miles. I will make it to the top of that mountain, 1 push at a time, 1 push at a time. And then they let all the ABs go. That's you, the able-bodied people, okay? So I'm pushing along. All the ABs are passing me on the uphill. This runner in a yellow shirt runs by, smacks me on the shoulder. Good job, Mike. Don't quit. You're an inspiration. He keeps on going. I kept pushing. I remember thinking, thanks. Shut up. Wait to the downhill. Then there was the downhill. Picture this, 500 runners looking over their shoulder, seeing 8 guys in wheelchairs coming at them at 45 miles an hour. I haven't passed yellow shirt. What do you think I thought as I sped by? Good job. Don't quit. You're an inspiration. I'll see you at the finish line. So we get to the finish line. Everyone's clapping. That felt good. I remember thinking, wait a minute. Everyone was clapping 3 hours ago when I took off. Now they're clapping at the end. What about the 26 miles in between? Just me, my wheelchair, the hot road, the hot sun. You know what I learned that day? All motivation is self-motivation. Love, money, fear can motivate us, but we have to get our rear ends out of bed in the morning, be thankful to be alive. I never appreciated my legs till I lost their use. I crossed the finish line that day. I had my head up, my shoulders back, and I thought, my dad's right. I can still be a great athlete. I just have to do it a little differently. Thank you. Thank you. Now, my friends here today, thank you, thank you. Thank you. You're very kind. I'm a smart guy. I appreciate that, by the way. Thank you. I know there's some pain in this room besides just my paralyzed body. I salute you for getting up every day and dealing with your stuff. It's tough. Nobody understands. You want to know the secret to getting through pain? Attach a purpose. Attach a meaning. If someone said, cut off your hand, you'd say, no. Oh, it'll save your child. I'll do it in a heartbeat. I started attaching a purpose and a meaning to all of this. It's made all the difference. I challenge you to do the same. I was just getting used to this new world of mine. I was back in high school. Life was good, driving a car, had a new girlfriend. One Friday afternoon, I was arm wrestling my weightlifting coach. He was strong, I was stubborn, we're doing our thing. He busted my right arm. Back to the hospital, more surgery, a big blue cast, four limbs, only this one worked. I went in circles for 5 months. But something more important happened in the hospital. They flipped me over. They sliced open my back. They took that .38 caliber piece of lead out of my T10 vertebrae. They handed it to me. I held it. I looked. I started shaking. This little piece of lead symbolized so much loss and heartache in my young life. But I can sit here before you this afternoon. I can look you all in the eyes. And I can tell every one of you it's about the time in my life I let it go. I let it go. What do you have that you need to let go of? I let it go. I got the let out, so to speak, yeah? I've been sitting on my butt for 40 years, so you won't sit on yours. I forgave my friend. My friend shot me, but he was my friend. We were neighbors. We were teammates. We hung out. We'd go to the mall. We'd go to movies. People would come up and say, Mike, what happened to you? He shot me. I mean, what do you say? Kind of different? Well, my friend, he moved away about a year later. He got involved in drugs, alcohol. He tried to rob a bank with a loaded gun. My buddy Tori spent 25 years in federal prison, many of them in Fort Leavenworth. Through it all, I had a prayer in my head, in my heart, someday I will reconnect with Tori. A few years back, I was at a restaurant. My cell phone rang. I knew that voice. It was Tori. He came to the restaurant. He walked in. We went to shake hands like two cool guys. And he walked right through my handshake. He knelt down. We embraced. It was like a bridge had been built over those many years. I am proud of my friend Tori. Despite his past, he has his life positioned properly. That's what life's all about. We get positioned into a bright future, and we head that direction socially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. We head into a bright future. I'm proud of my friend. Well, I got that blue cast off my arm, and I found myself on a hot August day hanging onto this improvised boogie board behind the family boat. So my dad's driving the boat. He's going like 30 knots, and I'm laying on top of this round, ugly yellow wooden board, and I'm laying on my belly. You know, Dad's cruising along, legs are flapping in the breeze behind me. I look like an injured frog. Anyway, I still remember that, hanging on. Water's hitting me in the face, and just legs flapping. I'm thinking, this isn't very much fun. Why did my friend shoot me? I'm having a bad day. Everyone's staring at me. I'm used to that, but something was a little extra. I looked over my shoulder, and yeah, my legs were flapped, but I'm not blind. Anyway, the water that came under the yellow boogie board ripped off my sporty green swimming trunks. So I wasn't happy. I quickly fall off. I'm bobbing up and down in my life jacket. I knew the boat would circle around to come back and get me. I'm trying to be all positive. Maybe I'm the world's first nude, disabled water skier. But you want to know my real thoughts? It's not my fault. I'm up to here in freezing cold water. It's not my fault I lost my swimming trunks. You know what? It's not even my fault I got shot. My friends here today, do fault and blame really have much to do with anything? Unless you're married. But we don't need fault. We don't need blame. We don't need to find problems. We need to find solutions. Be part of the fix-it team. Figure things out. By the time the boat got back to me, the boat circled around. My thoughts had come full circle, and I learned what I believe are the three most important words in life, and here they are. Take personal responsibility. Maybe that's 4 words. Take personal responsibility. We cannot always help exactly what happens to us in our lives, but we always have, by far, the most important choice: how are we going to respond? How are we going to react? When we take personal responsibility, I promise all of us it empowers us to succeed or fail on our terms. Take personal responsibility. I've tried to do that in my life. It makes all the difference. The boat came back, got me. I got in the boat, had a bad day, didn't let it turn into a bad week. And then I was ashamed. I'm ashamed to let you know. A few months later in my life, I went backwards a little bit. I wasn't taking personal responsibility. I didn't like this world of being in a wheelchair for a little while there. So I stayed home, sit on the couch. Friday night I'd be sitting on the couch, feeling sorry for myself. A school dance was going on, but I wouldn't go to the school dances. Why? I didn't want you girls to film around me and so I just stayed home. Well, one night I was having some pretty bad destructive thoughts, and I knew I either needed to go that way in life or I could go that way in life. Fortunately, I got my head positioned properly, and I started going that way. I picked my head up, my shoulders. I thought, I'm going to the dance. I don't care. If I don't accept myself, the world never will. So I still remember climbing that chair, out to the front door, down the new cement ramp, over to my black car, climbed in the seat, threw my wheelchair in the back seat, shut the door, and drove to Orem High School with my little hand controls. Down his gas, in his brakes. Sometimes you get mixed up. But anyway, so I drove to the high school. And I go to the dance. And I come into the dance. You've been there. The gymnasium. The lights are low. The wooden floor, the baskets. I snuck through a back door. I popped a wheelie against a red brick wall. I was leaning up against the wall. A few of my friends came and said hi, and they're back to chasing girls. Just me and my thoughts, wishing things were how they used to be, but proud of myself for showing up. I was there. I remember touching the cold bricks. And then I saw a girl named Wendy start heading my direction. Don't even think about it, Wendy. She kept getting closer and closer. This wasn't good, so I got out of a wheelie and I rolled a little bit further into that dark corner over by the bleachers. You've been there. And I leaned over and I started talking to my shoes. And I could still see her legs getting closer and closer, and that wasn't all that bad. But anyway, she stopped about 10 feet away, and I looked up and our eyes made contact, and she said, "Mike, I want to dance." I remember I thought, go dance. I'd be happy to watch you. Go dance. I knew she meant with me, head down, shoulder slump, pushing out of the dance floor. Whole world staring at me. This isn't very much fun. Why'd my friend shoot me? Having a bad day. Got out there, started dancing with an attitude. Couldn't wait for the song to end. I popped the wheelie. I turned a circle. I saw a few smiles. No, I turned another circle. More smiles. No. Get this over. Get me back to my safe corner. One more wheelie, one more circle, more smiles. Hey, maybe they respect me. Maybe they appreciate the fact that I showed up. Maybe they're not judging me. No. Get this over. I gotta go back to my safe corner, back where I feel comfortable. I don't want to change. I want to do anything different. I went to shake Wendy's hand. The song finally ended. I went to shake Wendy's hand. Wendy said 6 words I will never forget. Mike, I want one more dance. Not good. Stairway to Heaven. The longest slow song ever written in the history of music, probably 8.5 minutes, started. And everybody's hugging, twirling, geeking at me. I didn't know what to do. Wendy didn't know what to do. She was nervous. I was sweating bullets, no pun intended, but it was awkward. Wendy came over and knelt down on the ground right next to me. I started patting her on the head. Wendy, this isn't working very well. I'm messing up your hair, but I have an idea. Why don't you just sit on my lap? Wendy stood up. She plopped down sideways on my lap. She wrapped her arms around my shoulders. I quickly became the envy of every one of my friends. There's good in everything, especially you. The song finally ended, and I went to my corner, and Wendy went to her corner, and now I had a smile on my face and a smile on my heart, and I was thankful for showing up. And by the way, thank you for showing up. Thanks for caring about your life, your future. Thanks for being here in Orlando. Thanks for believing in yourself. Wendy could have danced with Roger or Phil or Lance. I'm thankful she took a chance to dance with me. This world's made of givers and takers. Takers eat well. Givers sleep well. I want every one of you to sleep well tonight because you're givers. You matter. You make a difference. Well, thank you. I told you about a goal I set when I was a kid to represent you in the Olympic Games in wheelchair basketball. I got my chance, 1988. I was a student at Arizona State, getting a master's degree, and I got a phone call to try out for the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, South Korea. I made the team. I was the youngest on the team. The great game of wheelchair basketball, great athletes like Reggie Colton from Gainesville, Florida. Reggie lost both of his legs on a train track when he was 11 years old. So we're traveling all over the world. We're representing you, representing our flag, on our way over the ocean to Seoul. We're in San Francisco. We're the first ones on the airplane, and they tell us to remain seated. We're like, okay. And my buddy Reggie, with no legs, like a spider monkey, he climbs up in the overhead luggage bin. And my coach shuts him in there. We start reading the newspaper. All the ABs, the able-bodied people like you, start coming on the airplane. What's the first thing you're looking to do when you get on the airplane? Put your bag somewhere, yeah? Oh, somebody opens that up and you think paraplegics have bladder problems. I mean, we scare people. Really bad. So we fly over the ocean, represent you and our flag, and we beat Holland by 10 points to win a gold medal. Thank you. It's a good feeling to know you're the best in the world at something, even for a small moment, yeah? My mom liked it so much, she was gonna bronze it. Come with me to 1992. Where were the Summer Olympic Games in 1992? Barcelona, Spain. My personal motto as I trained was no pain, no Spain. Again, I made the team. Again, we beat Holland by 3 points. They raised the flag, played the national anthem, put the gold medals around our necks. Where's the gold medal here today? I don't have it. I lost it. I lost my gold medal. How? One of my teammates tested positive for drugs. I had to give it back. Don't feel bad for me. Just know this. Every single thing you do here on this team at Viseo affect every single other person on the team. So, 2 games, 2 gold medals, a little adversity. 1996, where were the Summer Olympic Games in Atlanta, of course, Georgia. Our country, our food, our families, the best wheelchair basketball team ever put together. We'd never lost. We're playing in the Omni in front of 15,000 people. We're beating everybody by 25 points a game. We're playing Australia. Looking forward to the gold medal game the next night. We got beat. Didn't know what to do. Never had adversity before. Everybody's heading to the locker room. Coach is mad. Coach is yelling. Coach is chucking wheelchairs. Oh yeah, some of us were still in those wheelchairs. We got knocked down, we got up, we beat Spain by 9 points to win a bronze medal. I didn't like my bronze medal. I went back to Utah, I stuck it in my sock drawer. It sat in the corner of my sock drawer under my white socks for 4 years as a motivator for me to reach that goal I'd set years earlier to be the first wheelchair basketball player. I'm getting older, I got kids, I'm married, got a good job. I didn't lose sight of my goal. The year 2000 rolled around. Where were the Summer Olympic Games in 2000? Down under, beautiful country, Sydney, Australia. I made the team. One last time, I'd reached my goal. Now I'm like the oldest on the team. We're down there in the beautiful country. Beautiful people, by the way. I love Sydney. We're trying to get our gold medal back. We're playing in the semifinals. We're playing Canada. Any Canadians in here? What the heck? So you guys beat us. So Canada beat us. They're cheering. Yeah, it's okay. So we got beat again. Everybody's heading to the locker room. Coach is mad. I'd changed. I sat in the middle of that basketball court for 5 minutes. I knew it was the end. I looked at the flags, my family, the other athletes. I reflected. I remember what a privilege it had been to represent you and to represent our country over the course of almost 20 years in what I believe is the greatest sporting event in the world. And don't get me wrong, we had a bad day, but we got ourselves positioned properly. And we beat Great Britain on a 25-footer at the buzzer to win the bronze. We didn't lose the gold, we won the bronze. And I didn't go back to Utah and stick it in my sock drawer. I brought it here with me this afternoon to share with you. Third place. Thank you. Third place in a world of 7 billion people isn't really too bad. Yeah, you do your best, then you don't get depressed. There's good in everything, especially you. My mom doesn't have to bronze it. And Michael Phelps doesn't even have any of these. So I've been fortunate to win 2 gold medals and 2 bronze medals. I don't have any silver medals. They lose their last game. But I've been able to earn these with great teammates and friends and family and coaches and everything. But I have one other item I want to put around my neck. I want to let it take an equal place in my life with these Olympic medals. This other little item I earned in a little bit of a different way. A lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of heartache, a lot of tears. This other little item is about the size of the tip of your little finger. What do you think it is? It's my bullet. I share it with you. I hold it up here today. I put it in my hand. I don't shake. I accept it. It's part of me. It has opened a few doors. It's slammed a lot of doors shut. But today isn't about me. I have a favor to ask of you, incredible people. Will you do me a favor? Yeah? Tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, and you know you're an amazing human being, which you are, I challenge everyone here today to find your bullet. What stops you? What paralyzes you? It may not be in your spine like mine, could be in your head, could be in your heart. Find your bullet. Deal with it. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong. It means you care about yourself. Find your bullet. Life is full of difficulties. Life is full of D words. Think of D words that make life difficult. I'll get us started. Throw some out. Disabilities. Death. Divorce. Come on. Disappointment. Disease. Desperation. Doubt. Destruction. Debt. The in-laws. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of D words. I mean, Daniel, no. Anyway, find your bullet, put it around your neck, let it take an equal place in your life, and begin that journey to your dreams. Now, I want to take you on a little bit of a visual journey and show you a few cool photos. Ah, my first marathon, or my different marathon. Now, why my mom would let me wear brown corduroys and a 26-mile marathon, I have no idea. I finished that race on a flat tire. Alaska, I met a grizzly bear. In our lives, we have fears. We can forget everything and run, or we can face everything and rise. I'll just say next. This little thing's struggling a little bit. If there's a will, there's a way. Colorado. Next. The mountains in Utah. On this very mountain, my left leg went under the snowmobile, broke my ankle in 16 places. I couldn't feel it. But anyway, back to the hospital. More surgery. A big blue cast from my ankle to my hip, 5 months walking around. I'm still walking a little bit of a limp, but I'm doing much better. The family farm, Sanpete County, Utah. My brother Tyler got the backhoe, and he picked me and my buddy Brett up, and he dumped us in the pond. It wasn't on my bucket list. My same brother dug a hole in San Diego, buried me up to my neck. I didn't like it. Get me out of here, Tyler. He started throwing chips and bread all around my head. And all the birds showed up. El Capitan, a 3,000-foot cliff in Yosemite in Northern California. My friend, my teammate, Trooper Johnson, wanted to climb this when he was a little boy. When he was in high school, he broke his back. Were his dreams denied? No, they were delayed. A few years ago, as a paraplegic, Trooper climbed this mountain 5,000 pull-ups. He slept on that red thing, he packed his gear, and with the help of a guide, he walked 2.5 miles back to the bottom on his hands. In our lives, the greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. This is my beautiful wife, Tammy. She's here with us today. She's from the great state of Minnesota. It's a little cold up there right now, but life's good. She didn't know me when I was on my feet. She accepted me, my wheelchair, and all my other disabilities. This is why we all do what we do. Who needs wings when you got wheels, a good wife, and a wedgie? Yeah. The Dallas airport. You ever been in a hurry? I couldn't find the elevator. So I took the escalator. It's a big, long, escalator thing. I've been up it a few times. I got to the top, and there's like a security guy waiting for me with an attitude. He chewed me out. I went on my way. He yelled at me, "Hey, what happened to you anyway?" I said, "I fell out of an elevator." He says, "Okay, you can take my escalator." But more important than that is, life is how we handle plan B. What are we going to do now to make our future perfect and right and awesome and wonderful? The Olympic Games in Salt Lake City, I was fortunate to carry Monaco's little placard. It was 5 months after our country was attacked. It was a cold night. 2 billion people are watching. I have a little video clip here for us.
Monaco.
Pretty cool, huh? Back when the Bush family was smiling. I was able to meet cool people like John Bon Jovi under my left arm. Yeah, from New Jersey, a little bit of rock and roll for you ladies. And under my right arm, a fellow Utahn, a little bit of country, Marie Osmond. Did you know she lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem? I saw it, but I prefer Slim much better, all right? Yeah, I need to get on that product. All right. This is my kids. They're all married and gone now. We have 5 of them. They're now 30 down to 20. Matt, Megan, Joseph, Mackenzie, and Anna. I don't care in our lives if we've hung out with all the rich and famous. I want to know if we sat with the broken. Thank you for being there for people like me, your families, your future. Thank you. Trooper has a hat on. He climbed El Capitan. The other guy, the tall guy with no legs, that's Reggie. Remember I told you about Reggie on the airplane? No legs, he climbed up in that overhead luggage bin thingy. Come on. Can you find Reggie? That's my coach getting ready to shut him in there. Watch out for Reggie. I was fortunate to carry the Olympic flame in St. George, Utah, as it made its way towards Salt Lake City. Utah, yeah, you carry it for 2 blocks. You're thinking, don't drop it, they'll cancel the Olympics. The kids are going nuts. You got to hand it to somebody. I wanted to hand it to my mom. My mom nominated me to carry the torch. My mom has a disease called MS. I ended up handing the torch to a different person with a different problem. Everybody in here today has a torch to carry. Grab your torch. Hang on tight. Carry it for you, your family, your future. It's worth it. Carry your torch. Up in Canada, Edmonton, the wheels slant out. You know why? It protects your fingers. It also helps you turn quicker. That's my coach above my head yelling, "Don't shoot." I shot anyway. You know what the name of my book is? I have a few of them with me. Shot Happens. Subtitle says, I got shot, what's your problem? This is after we won the gold in '92. We're not good at climbing up the ladders. They brought the baskets down. We cut the nets off to celebrate. They raised the American flag, played the national anthem, put the gold medals around our necks. 20 minutes later was the drug test. Had to give our gold medals back. These are some of my disabled friends at the White House, Trooper and Mark. This is another one of my disabled friends that used to be at the White House. Just having fun. I was able to meet up with my friend. Who do you think this is? Tori, my buddy that shot me. I'm proud of Tori. My fourth and final games, the Olympic Games in Sydney, 100,000 people in that beautiful stadium. I'm down there in the red with the US team. Then they say, let the games begin. I watched the amputees run the 100 meters in 11 seconds, or high jump 7 feet. This is after we hit the 25-footer at the buzzer to win the bronze. Who do you think's upside down on the bottom? Little video clip here, tie game, 15 seconds to go. Great Britain has the ball, they call timeout, we play terrible defense, they miss a layup. Here's how we win our bronze medal in Sydney in 2000.
Trapped up top, down low, Dan Johnson springs free, the shot no good. Rebound Waller, we're trying to get a timeout. Barber runs it up to Schulte. 2 seconds remain, Schulte for the win. He got it!
This will make some of you happy. The Canadians went on to win the gold medal. This is the best player in the world, Pat Anderson from Edmonton. He climbed up on the basket. He held up the Canadian flag. He was giving us Americans a hard time. He cut the net off. He cut his legs off. And anyway, he couldn't even put his shoes on the right way. But anyway, yeah, that's Pat Anderson from the great country of Canada. All right, let me just say this. First of all, thank you for letting me share a little bit of my life story. When my grandma Schlappi brought me that cherry Slurpee, she taught me to laugh again. My dad taught me I could still be a great athlete. Wendy and my wife Tammy have taught me love, caring, and compassion are really what matter. Tori taught me we can forgive ourselves, reposition, and move into a bright future. But the greatest lesson I learned in life, I learned from my good mom, flipping pancakes in the kitchen, crying when she taught me that just because I can't stand up doesn't mean I can't stand out. My friends here today, my partner friends at Paseo, I want to finish my remarks. I want to speak to you just very briefly if I were our flag. What would our flag say if it could speak to us here this afternoon? I've been able to represent our flag all over the world. I've watched it raised to the rafters. It's been places that many of us can only imagine. So what would our flag say if it could speak to us here today? You might need to hit that button, yeah. And by the way, if you're from another country like Canada, I hope you feel the exact same way about your country and your flag. I am your flag. I was born on June 14th, 1777. I am more than just cloth, shaped into a design. I am the refuge of the world's oppressed people. I am the silent sentinel of freedom. I am the emblem of the greatest sovereign nation on earth, and I'm the inspiration for which American patriots give their lives and fortunes. I've led your sons into battle, from Valley Forge to the steaming, treacherous jungles of Vietnam, into Afghanistan and Iraq. I've walked in silence with each of your honored dead to their final resting place beneath silent white crosses, row upon row. I have flown through war and peace, strife and prosperity, and amidst it all, I have been respected. My red stripes symbolize blood spilled in defense of our glorious nation. My white stripes signify burning tears shed by Americans who've lost their sons or daughters in battle. My blue field is indicative of God's heaven under which I fly. And my white stars clustered together unify 50 states as one for God and country. Old Glory is my nickname. Proudly, I wave on high. Honor me, respect me, defend me with your lives and fortunes. Never let my enemies tear me down from my lofty position, lest I never return. Keep alight the fires of patriotism. Strive earnestly for the spirit of democracy. Worship the eternal God and keep his commandments, and I shall always remain a bulwark of peace and freedom for all mankind. And I lost the freedom to walk. I've had people say, Mike, if you could go back to that day and change that day, that Veterans Day 40 years ago, would you? What do you think my first thought is? Of course. But if you'd seen what I'd seen, if you'd been where I'd been, if you knew what I knew, and most importantly, if you'd felt what I felt, I thank God for pain, because only when we feel pain do we grow. And only when we grow do we change. And only when we change do we discover the beauty that lies within each and every one of us. I promised, laying on a white bedspread with a hole in my chest, if I could live, I would help people. So when the great men Dallin and Brian and Daniel called me, said, Mike, will you share your story with our partners and our friends? I said, I would be honored to. So I'm here for a reason today. Just a little simple reminder in life, whether or not you can or you can't stand up, we all matter. We all make a difference, and we all have the ability in our lives to stand out. Thank you very much for letting me share some of my story here with you today.
Give Mike. Wow. Hey, awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Incredible. What a story, man. Talking with him backstage today, you get to see it's what a heart he has, and